I'll give everybody a moment to join here. I just want to say welcome. Apollo happened to just be staring at me as I got ready for the live stream, so he made his presence known and said, hey, let me be a part of this. So once in a blue moon, he shows up at the beginning, and I'm glad he could be part of today's presentation. So how's everybody doing today? Hopefully well. Great to see all of you. Give me just a moment here to get things set up. So first things first, welcome to your monthly reading. This is going to be for the sign of Cancer. We're going to be looking at the energy for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And I always like to begin with channeled messages at the very beginning. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It'll help keep you posted on whenever I post a new video. And it's a great way to show support that is free. Always optional, but again, it does help. A little bit of information on how I work with channeled messages. Basically, they come through dreams and meditations. And today, what I was focusing on was the productive and very fertile energy of the bumblebee, something that I haven't seen for a minute or two. So let's talk about it today. And again, this is the beginning of the reading. Basically, I start with energy that comes straight from source. Then I delve into the cards afterwards so that we can dig a little bit deeper. So and also, it's been a minute since we've had an insect or animal totem, and it was specifically the bumblebee today, so that's cool. Let's break into the energy of this first and foremost. Unlike honeybees and other types of whether it's a hornet or something like that that build in the sky, typically they build their nest closer to the ground. And so to kind of get the queen bee energy, I would say it's Queen of Pentacles. They're team players, obviously part of a hive, part of a collective. Pollinators, and they represent abundance. So again, connecting to that Queen of Pentacles energy. Focus and creativity are two key elements that this particular queen would bring through for me when I'm tuning into the totem. And I think for you, this is really what you want to focus on. Focus being the key. Where can you put the most energy and get the most impact? So areas of personal development, finances, and learning are really where I'm seeing openings for you this month. The other thing here is to kind of differentiate a bumblebee between a bumblebee and a honeybee. They don't need to save up because their lifespans are a little bit shorter. So typically they're only focusing on the here and the now and basically the health of the overall colony. So it's a 1-year lifespan. And so this is a chance to really focus on the next year. Sometimes I'll say, get out your 1, 3, 5-year plan. I really want you to kind of just focus on what's the goal from July to July. And whatever you're setting into motion right now can carry you through that period of time. There's also like just the number 1 when I'm thinking about this. 1 year, ace, sort of single focus. Even the queen, she holds a single ace. So like queens can have the value of a 1 or a 10. Any of the court cards can, because she is carrying that 1 ace. So find something to really put your time and energy in, and don't spread yourself too thin. That happy middle ground is what's going to be important. So no, just enough, but not too much. And this is going to help you again with radical growth opportunities. We see that little open door there at the end of the Ace of Pentacles, and that's really what this is opening up for you. Now, the stinger is of something that I'd like to focus on here. Unlike a honeybee, and it's not all parts of the bumblebee, or not all types of bumblebees. It's basically the worker and the queen that can do this. The drones do not have stingers, but worker bees have the ability to sting multiple times. It's a smooth versus a barbed stinger. So if you're going to fight a fight, you have to be willing to basically be prepared for a difficult engagement. I think better than that is there's a 10 of swords that you would see in the Lightseer's deck where she just moves in a new direction. It's probably better to elevate the conversation, choose the path of peace, or at least try to find the middle ground. Otherwise, move in a new direction and avoid being triggered. Because sometimes what can happen with bees is they can kind of get into a frenzied state, and we want to avoid that. Okay? And let's go ahead. I think that's everything for today. The main focus, though, if we go back into the first card here, was this ability to have that Midas touch. When you put your energy behind one thing, you're going to see a lot of growth, and it could put you in a 1-year cycle, which is exciting, I think, for all of us. All right, let's take a look and see which deck of cards you guys chose for me. Is it really a 3-way tie? All right, it's a 3-way tie. So what I do in the case of a 3-way tie is I let the cards decide. So I'm trying to kind of keep this democratic today. If you happen to be tuning in, you can vote and see if we can get this passed to the tie. But otherwise, I think at this point, I'm just going to pull one from each deck and let them decide. All right, so bear with me for a moment. Normally this is why I do the poll, but we don't have as many people showing up today, so I'm gonna let the cards decide. All right, so we'll give each a shuffle and figure out which deck we're gonna use today, because it was 33% for each. Even with 78 votes, that's interesting. Okay. This is typically why I took voting out, because it takes an extra couple of minutes here. All right, so King of Swords, Empress, currently Afro Goddess is in the lead, and the Ace of Wands. Okay, we're going with Afro Goddess. Thank you, cards, for helping us decide. That's going to be your center card as well. All right, let's begin. Welcome, everybody. If you just joined, we're in the middle of the Celtic Cross shuffle. We let the cards decide which deck we were going to use today. I gave everybody a choice, but it was a tie. All right, give me a second to get everything set up here. I haven't seen this deck in a while, so it's nice that you guys decided to vote for it today, so thank you for that. If I failed to say so, this can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. You can really watch it for any aspect of your chart. We will take a look at Sun, Rising, and Moon messages at the latter portion of today, so I do hope you stick around for that. All right, let's get all of these set up. I'm going to turn on the AC. I forgot to do that, and then we'll begin so you can look at the cards while I do that. All right. So let's begin, first things first, with the Catalyst card. The Catalyst is what brings focus, allows for you to have basically, create some action and some movement in your life. This Catalyst is around mastery. In tarot, this would also be connected to the Three of Pentacles. And let's just read a little bit about this. It says, you're on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You're guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. So let's take the wordiness down a couple notches here and say mastery is key and focus is important to that mastery. Looking forward, not backward. We want to be informed by the past, but really be inspired by the future. And winds of spirit. This is what your heart and your intuition want you to kind of focus on, okay? People may be knocking on your door because of your wisdom, because of your expertise, so I do like that as well. Eagles and hawks, we're focusing on vision and also the ability to really go after something. Apex predators, at least, I think, yeah. Depending on where they're at. So they usually get what they want, which is a great symbol here to come in the Catalyst. All right, focusing now on the Celtic Cross itself. Let's just take a quick look at everything. I have to jump to this. I love how you're showing up the star. And we see lots of sort of celestial and angelic energy around you, which I like. Hard work that's paying off. Manifestation skills. You don't have any negative or low frequency cards here. It's pretty it's high vibe today, which I like. So let me try to help you with that. We're going to start with the first two cards here, beginning with the center, which is the Empress, which is the selector for this deck because it basically came through and said, pick me. Queen Bee energy with this as well. the bumblebee overall, most of the bees that you see out there are going to be worker bees. They're mostly female, so it's a divine feminine energy, even the phrase queen bee. So we got the queen of the major arcana. It makes a lot of sense. Fertile energy, abundant energy. Some of you are just at the point where you're actually tapping into something and seeing basically a return on your investment, a fruitful period. Some of you are at the beginning portion, conceiving a new idea. It can also represent pregnancy, just as you see in this deck here. So whether you're at the beginning or giving birth to something or kind of overseeing something, this nurturing energy is one of the central themes. It's what helps select the deck. Never underestimate your authority, your power, your voice, your vision. As long as you can lean into that this month, good things will follow through. Crossing this card is the page, or the daughter in this deck, of Pentacles. She's really keeping her eye on what it is that she wants to do. Lots of love, lots of care, lots of nurturing energy with that as well. I saw the Queen of Pentacles, but this is just as good. We have both a page and a knight, which is going to bring you there eventually. What I like about pages is they can communicate desire, value, just any sort of information. But when we're looking at this, don't be afraid to talk about money, the bottom line, the schedule, the time, the resources, all things that Pentacles would oversee. And you can ask questions. You may also want to listen to see what's going on, but being able to pick up on that and be in the mix of it, that's your power as well. And there is, okay, so sometimes we look at the page and you're like, well, it's not the highest suit, but it is the communication card, and this is where the power is. So never underestimate the power of communication, because behind that is the Queen. So speak with authority, speak with passion. You may actually be seen as even more valuable than your role, or you may be seen as like surprising people because you're coming through with this wisdom. So don't pay so much attention to where you've been or where you're at right now. Focus on where you're going. That visionary energy and sort of vibe is what's going to be taking you to the next level this month. We have two different opposed pages here. In the deep past, we have an idea with the Page of Wands, and crossing this is like time, energy, and resources. So it's basically saying, we could look at these three. There's an idea that's overdue for delivery, for kind of getting out there, and it's time to ground it and bring it into the here and the now. There might be some adjustments based on what's feasible, but if we can get these two people in the same direction, great things will happen. Right now they're opposed. They're looking at it from different angles. So I think the challenge for some of you in a relationship or at work or just in general is how to bring people to kind of focus on the overlap. What's the common goal? What's the common interest? How can we get things moving in the here, in the now? This is a great time to also take a planner or a goal and again, bring it into fruition. Literally, this is bringing something to the planet with these two cards. We have the King of Pentacles coming through. So I don't have any doubt that you can accomplish whatever it is that you seek. If you set your mind to something, you can master it. You can soar. And so we have the Son of Pentacles here. I thought it was the King. It's the Son of Pentacles, which is a knight in this deck. So the knights are also bringing things closer to the finish line. I love how he has stars in his eyes. If you look really, really closely, you can see kind of like the universe reflecting back. It's important for you to keep your eye up there because that's your power this month. You came through as the star. She was reversed, but she's the star nonetheless. You have to see it for other people to see it. So you have to see the star potential like we see in his eyes for other people to see that. He's holding a star. It makes a lot of sense that we would see that there. So what can you do this month? If you're not finding what you want where you're at, go a little further outside of your comfort zone. Knights get on their horse, get in their cars, get on the motorcycle, get on public transit, and they look around. So this is an exploratory card. We also see the crops behind them. So for any of you that plant like me, if you like gardens, if you like, whether it's for hobby or for your livelihood, this is saying, it takes time and it takes energy, but it's worth it. And you have to, just like you're spreading that seed out there, you have to spread the word, you have to do the work. So there's a lot of encouragement here to take things to the next level. That's going to help you accomplish your goals. If you've been dragging your feet, this isn't the month to drag them anymore. Especially since we have, is this the success card here? I'm looking at it upside down. Yeah, six of wands here. A little bit of a push here in the immediate future. So Nine of Wands, we actually had this card for the daily read a couple days ago. So this is basically reminding you of a few things. The card was reversed. Oh, actually, it was upright. Let me double check that. Whether upright or reverse, it represents the ability for you to move forward. Sometimes the challenge here is, yeah, it was reversed. Okay, good. I always want to make sure. So the challenge for many of you is, how do I stay motivated? Why isn't this finished yet? Why is it taking so long? So take a break, get a step or two back. That was part of today's daily card read as well. And take care of yourself. Places where the fatigue will set in with the Nine of Wands. Headache, sometimes difficulty in concentrating, concentration. Sometimes also just feeling the pressure and having that be a creative block, not allowing you to just sort of go in the flow. So take a step back and focus on just how much progress you've made. Realize that nobody's going to get in the way of having this come to completion. And once you ground yourself a little bit, you'll be fine again. You've got this, basically, is what everything here. These are such positive cards. Can you see how great this side of the fence is? And it only gets better as we go here. The High Priestess, though, is reversed. So this is saying you're near the end, don't give up. This is saying you have good insight, don't second guess it. So ultimately a great card, but in reverse it can represent hesitation, doubt, frustration, or disbelief, which we don't have room for right now. It can also be manifesting fears, which is something you don't want to do either. So the High Priestess upright is basically in the flow. She says, I see it, I believe it, I'm doing it. It's happening, I'm creating it. So that's really the energy that I want you to focus on. If you're feeling pushed to go away from your creative vision, don't allow that to happen. Things that could be pulling you away from that, someone could be focused too much on the bottom line. Someone may just want it to be their vision, or they may try to take ownership. Stand your ground. Remember, at the center, we have an upright queen here, basically, the Empress. So you're going to have to bring order, and you're going to have to sometimes consistently put a line in the sand and say this, not this, or you've crossed this line, okay? The High Priestess is really good at seeing new things, seeing through a facade. So you may not want to see something, but you're going to see it anyway. You're going to be able to see people's true colors, okay? You are coming through in one of the best possible cards here with the Star. She is reversed, but it is still one of the best. When the card is reversed, it's saying don't dim your light. Kind of some of the things we were just talking about with the High Priestess. Don't doubt your power, don't dim your light, don't change yourself to please others. Instead, focus on increasing your authentic self, increasing the messaging around why it's important to do it a certain way, and basically be cool, calm, and collected. There's a lot of parity between the Star as illustrated here and even like the Temperance card. Usually 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. And both of these cards were reversed. So there's impatience, and there's possibly this feeling like I have to change to make others happy. So don't. Be yourself. Try to push back against unrealistic sort of constraints or people trying to fit you in a mold that doesn't feel right. Some of you may be uncomfortable with attention. There may be a little bit more of a spotlight, more opportunities knocking. I'll just say this, though, that the universe sees the value in you, so try to see the value in yourself and let the stars sort of decide just how far you can go. Don't limit yourself with fear and anxiety. And ask for help if you need that. This is just like the general download. So for some of you, that'll be working with a mentor, talking with a friend, talking with a therapist. There's so many different ways to work through the fears or anxieties. 2 cards that are really closely aligned with Source, the Star and the High Priestess. She's literally receiving things. We have 2 mediums, because that's what pages are. They receive and send messages. So you've got 2 mediums, the medium of the of the Major Arcana, and then the single most plugged in card probably in the Major Arcana. So you have great insights. We also got that, surprise, surprise, but not really, in your catalyst. So your wisdom is here. It doesn't matter if you've worked many years or if you're new at something, if you're young, if you're old, whatever you're trying to solve, whatever you're putting your mind behind, you actually have exactly what it takes to solve this. So do not underestimate yourself. Trust yourself. As we look in the environment, we have success, the 6 of Wands. This is a really unusual 6 of Wands. It looks almost nothing like the 6 of Wands. So typically you would see someone riding in on a horse, Sometimes they're paying attention to the people that are following them or cheering them on. Sometimes they're kind of like this in their own world or kind of taking their own direction. I think it's important to do a little bit of both. Like, you definitely want to read the room, but you sometimes have to lead the charge. And so leadership can be a little lonely sometimes, and that's okay. If you're doing it right, sometimes you're not going to always be met with approval. Something I noticed in a recent reading, like a week or two ago, is how sassy the horse is in this one. It kind of reminds me of the donkey in Shrek, where kind of playful and sassy. So there could be someone, even around you, your closest support, that sometimes gives you a hard time. But if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. So trust in that. Try not to let the feedback, whether constructive or otherwise, kind of take you out of your creative flow. This is a reminder to not try to, both of these, they're two success cards. So this is showing success and attention. This is accomplishing goals and achieving success. In the upright position, perfect. Reversed, this can be a fear of that attention, and this can be trying to change something for approval. I was just, right before this reading, I was walking Apollo, talking to a neighbor. We both had previously worked in corporate jobs, actually at the same place, but different capacities. And we were talking about how dysfunctional one of those, particular companies were. And it was just sort of like, it's so refreshing not to have to do that anymore, because one of the things that happened is that there would be so many levels of approval that the original idea would get watered down. Or if it's creative stuff, it would just get approved to death. 15, 20 different meetings around kind of like changing it, and eventually it lost its punch. So try to stay as true to your vision as possible, and know that if you're doing something right, you're probably going to not get universal approval. Sometimes people just don't get it, and that's okay. That's how you lead. That's the leading edge sometimes, or the bleeding edge. Temperance in reverse, impatience. Try not to rush yourself this month. Take time. Know that things happen one step at a time. Notice all of the balancing energy with the cups. So for some of you, you need an outlet. And for some of you, you just need to find a way to balance out your interests. So both the star and temperance are dealing with emotions and the flow of energy. The star is kind of letting it go and just let whatever is, and it is emanating energy rather than receiving. Whereas temperance is saying, I'm lacking this and I want some of this. So really do some soul searching and figure out where you need to kind of adjust things in your life. It's one of the angel cards. So you're being guided. Even if it's something that makes you feel like others won't get it, or I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel this way. You're feeling that way because you're being guided, and you need to kind of figure out how to make it happen or how to address the download, the decision, so you can move on, so you can be liberated, so you can spread those wings, just like we saw here, and allow yourself to really go on the next journey. We have another night. So by the way, we have two partnerships here, 2 pages and 2 nights. So for some of you, you may be in an interesting sort of group dynamic. There could also be 2 couples or 2 families merging. So I'm seeing 2 different groups coming together. There's a matriarch at the center. We'll look at this more in relationships in a moment. But as an aspect of you and your life right now, don't overthink. Don't be afraid to go back and change something or fix something if you need to. But when it comes to general direction, the Knight of Wands needs to know that it's okay to move forward. So you don't need my permission, but if you need encouragement that it's okay to move, go for it. And if you need to change something and you want to change it, do it. But don't change just for the sake of others. I think that's the universal message there. All right, so overall, the trend here is about empowerment. We see teams, possibly 2 disparate or different teams here with the 2 knights and the 2 pages, or a blended family or a blended group. And so it's going to take some mediation and some divination to figure out how to make it all work. But you may also find yourself in the middle of a negotiation. You may find yourself as the peacekeeper or as the communicator, and you're going to do a great job because these 2 cards sum up the talent and skill here. All right, let's go ahead and expand this a little bit and get a deeper understanding of what's coming through with respect to health, wealth, love, and destiny. My throat is a little dry today, so let me just drink some herbal tea and then we'll go to the next thing. Okay, let's begin with your health card, mind, body, and spirit. As always, each one of these expanded categories comprises multiple things. When it comes to your health, it's not just what's going on in your body. A lot of times, environment affects the body, thought process affects the body, a lot of other things can come through. So I'm not a doctor, I am a tarot reader, and I am going to help you with the energy around you. You're going to make decisions on what fits you best, and you'll talk to a doctor, financial advisor, or whoever you need to specialist-wise in your life for the other stuff. Energetically, in your health area, we have a leap of faith. And it says, I'm ready to take a leap, angels. Thank you for doing it with me. So for some of you, I'm also picking up on a feeling of being isolated or alone, maybe working so much that you're in a hermit or a monastic sort of energy. And this is reminding you to shake up the routine, break things up a little bit. That's going to be really, really important. The other thing here is we have the Temperance Angel, which reminds me a lot of this. So for many of you, not trying to do it overnight in one fell swoop, that's going to be super important as well. Let's break this down now and take a deeper look at general health messages with that previous disclaimer in mind. So you are your own best advocate and your own best boss. This nurturing energy is saying, do what you need to take care of yourself. Stand up for yourself if you need to. Some of you may also be launching something big in your life. You could also be having a baby, either just got pregnant or you just gave birth. Take extra special care of yourself during this period because the work that you do on yourself now will help sustain you. Remember, we were looking at an annual sort of cycle change, so I want to make sure you're good for that next cycle. Let me see what else is coming through. The Nine of Wands, again, typically has to do with fatigue in the general space of your head. So for some of you, this could be TMJ. For some, it could be a migraine. Others could just be thoughts that are not sort of coherent or whatever. You need to kind of take a deep breath, meditate, get enough sleep, eat well. And if they continue to if this continues to bother you, obviously get some assistance there too. It could just be pressure. So anything that you can do to manage pressure is going to be advantageous. Otherwise, I quite like what I see here, and there's not a lot of other messages, so we're going to leave it at that. It is okay, and it is safe to take that leap of faith or that new sort of shift in your life. This is also like the Fool card because the Fool is taking a leap of faith. So there you go. Those are the messages for health. Let's move on to wealth, which is money, resources, hobbies, activities. And we have opportunity to be more organized here. We have Set, and the card is around chaos. We could imagine Set being the tower, and with Set in reverse, it's about knowing that you want to bring order to disorder, organization to disorganization, or that you want to knowingly change something and you're going to disassemble and reassemble. So there's a little bit of work with things going on around you, because this is also a very environmental card, but perhaps you're in a work environment or you're in a relationship where things are just happening quickly and it's sort of like, I need to slow down. I need to find my grounding. Please do that. You have what it takes because your center card is like the bossiest one we could pick. Literally, she's like the queen bee, which is what we're looking for. So speak up, say no, get a good team around you. So we have a nice queen bee here, and she has a couple of worker bees and a couple of drones, basically. She has her team together. So you get your team together as well. You don't have to do this all on your own. Normally that message would be a part of the 10 of Wands, but part of the stress could be from trying to manage everything on your own. I've been there as a person who owns his own business. And really it's me. Like, so when you guys mention the team, I have Dakota on the weekends, but like everything else you see here, every video, every posting, all the stuff, it's all me, and it can be tiring sometimes. So I get it. When it's just you, you got to take care of yourself. Sometimes you have to push things to a different, well, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do this later, and really decide how important is this in this moment. So delegate if you can, and if you can't, shift the schedule around so that you can take care of yourself. Creativity is just off the charts right now. So this is why we got a bossy card at the center, because it's really time for people to see our 3 divine feminine cards, 3 of the best: the Empress, the High Priestess, the Star. Like, hello. With these 2 in reverse, though, there could be a little bit of resistance. Because this is chaos here in the environment, you could be in a place where there is no management, or the manager clocked out, or it's just you, and you just have to sort of figure out, can I continue to exist in this energy? Can I bring order to it, or do I need to move on, move up, move out? And that's everything that we saw with the leap of faith. It's a decision you have to make based on environmental factors. If you're working, here's what I see. If you have a current job, it's a great time to talk money. It's a great time to talk goals, put things into writing. You have a chance of getting that. So if you want a promotion, if you want a transfer, if you're interested, well, we'll look more at applying in a second, but anybody that's currently working, use and work your magic, and then be patient. This is the time, though, to set it into motion. Absolutely. If you are looking for work, it's a competitive field right now. There's a lot of people that are doing like similar things or putting their work out there, but you have a chance. And how? You have a chance of making a splash by doing something different. Change up that intro paragraph, change up your website, change up the way you've been presenting yourself. There's something that you can do to kind of stand out a little bit more. And it's by being more unique, like in the best possible way. Whatever makes you singular and unicorn-like is what's going to make you stand out. If you're retired, creativity is flowing through. You might want to pick up a new hobby. Some of you are feeling a little bit like impatient here, and I would say some travel could also be good. Teaching, training, helping others also coming through as something that might be good for you as well. Overall, like manifestation and success is touching all aspects of your chart this month. So I feel like you're going to be okay. It's just about belief and basically following through on what you're receiving here. All right, let's move on now to love and relationships. Okay. Also a really great card. You got the High Priestess, now you got the Magician. So the Magician is also a manifester. When it comes to relationships, I read the Magician slightly different. Every reader is going to have their own take on it. But for me, it's chemistry. I mean, because when I look at the traditional magician, he or she has one of every suit and they're mixing things up. It's very alchemic. It's very chemist-like. So when I look at the magician in a relationship spread, the question I have is, do you feel it? Is the thrill there? Is the connection there? This can hit in any part of your life. So if it's a new job, do you feel inspired? If it's a new friendship, do you feel like it's easy back and forth? If it's a relationship, even better. If you don't, in a relationship, this is the spark, the sensual spark too. So if that's missing, it's very hard to create it. You can always reignite a spark that's kind of gone out, but if it's never been there to start with, the magician can only do so much, and that's out of the realm of its capacity. You can't fake that. So there are certain things you can fake it till you make it, but when it comes to the spark, if you really feel connected, trust in yourself and don't beat yourself up if it doesn't feel like there's no connection there, basically. So in relationships, people may set you up and they think you're perfect, but you're like, no, this is like dating a sibling. In a work environment, it may look good, the title's good, the pay's good, but you don't feel the creativity there. In an extracurricular activity or anything else in your life, same thing. It should be there, but it's not there. The card is upright, so let's just assume that for the first time in a while, you're feeling the spark. That's good. Follow the spark, follow the energy. Okay? All right. Now, let's take a look at 3 different aspects of relationships. Those of you in a loving relationship, looking for a relationship, or happily single. If you're already in an existing relationship, I see blended families or a lot of people, like I said, brothers and sisters or in-laws, because we're getting 2s and 2s. So for some of you, this could also be one or both of you were previously married. There could be children, there could be exes, and it's just about blending it. And you can do it. Like, this is the queen bee, and this is a creative solution. And I like that, okay? What I like the most about current relationships is success is in the environment. You've got this. There's like literally nothing here for those of you that are in a good relationship that tells me that anything's going to change over the course of this month. I see a deep soul connection. I see understanding and intuiting what one another wants before you have to even communicate it. Potential challenges this month: money, resources, two of you wanting to go in different directions. A tug of war also on who's right or who's wrong, and there really doesn't have to be an answer to that. Both of these are partners at their best. So kings and queens and knights and pages, they're perfectly matched. So I feel like you guys have done it in the past. You can do it again. It's past karma coming through. The main things here are to trust one another, to cheer one another's successes on, as all healthy relationships should do, and not to push each other. You're not mother or father. We have the maternal energy here, but you shouldn't have to sort of mother or father someone else. So they're either going to do it or they're not going to do it. The same sort of chemistry message is coming through there. But I actually feel like it's a good month for current relationships. You can either continue to thrive or you can work through challenges if you want to. If you want to go in a different direction, you can do that too. But it looks really healthy and manageable this month. If you're looking for someone new, you're busy. And I think that's always one of the challenges when I'm pulling cards here, but especially so here. One thing that I would say, though, is lack of specificity. So Set's chaos can also be, he's touching the relationship card. So one thing that's lacking here is specificity, because I got so many different court cards. For some of you, you may be too flexible or too open, and it's like, whatever, anybody, if you're easygoing, that's fine. But when you want to manifest, I would say be more discerning, and don't accept the first opportunity that comes your way unless you have the chemistry. If you have the chemistry, it's great. You don't have to wait. But if there's no chemistry, don't settle. Let's put it that way. The chemistry is your decision. When you feel butterflies, when you feel your heart skip a beat, when your palms are sweaty, when you're stumbling for words, any of those things, or you just like, I really want to hear from this person again. I really want to see them. I don't want to play some silly game. Then don't play a silly game. Check in on them. So I feel like this is a great time to meet people, but there's just too much going on. So clear it out a little bit. Clear out your mind. Clear out what you're trying to manifest. This is going to help segue into the next thing. Here's what I see both those looking for love and those that are single and happy dealing with. There's a lot going on with business, money, and ideas. Ideation, finances, new opportunities, your own sort of ability to sit within all of this, creative downloads coming through left and right, possibly hitting something way out of the park and really succeeding, new attention, like, woohoo, look at all of this. Let's assume all of this is work-oriented, then what you're really pulling in here is the Son of Wands or the Knight of Wands. So there's a fire sign on the horizon for you. And it's karmic, there's past life energy. But there's so much to do first that whether you're single and looking or single and happy, I'd like you to just really sit in this moment and focus on personal development, finances, and just balancing out your energy so that whenever this future partnership comes through, whether it's love or platonic, you're ready for it. It feels like you're going to see it coming. So I don't feel like you have to try too hard. I think focus on this and keep an open mind and an open ear to what's going on in the periphery. And you're being led and guided to the right time, the right person, the right place. Okay? Okay. Destiny. Let's see what your trajectory is right now. It's pretty cool. We saw this just a second ago. The unicorn came through, and it was a reversed unicorn. So it's saying you're unique. Don't change what makes you singular and special. I am restating what I've already said, but here we go. You also might be looking for that unicorn experience out there, that ace in the hole sort of job, that relationship that's 1 in a million, that opportunity that is worth the extra work. So with that comes what? Patience. The pickier you are, sometimes, the more the patience is tried, but it's worth it if you trust it, if you believe in yourself. Try this. Believe that it could happen faster. Your beliefs are manifesting. You've got the Magician and the High Priestess. So manifest positivity. Say, I'm ready to make this happen faster. I'm ready to change my cycle. I'm ready to take a leap of faith. I'm ready for this. So that preparation and that kind of playful energy with the universe, why not now? You might be surprised what you can do with that. Okay? let's go ahead now and take a look at the sun, rising, and moon messages. As I said, you can use it for all aspects of your chart, but I like to drill a little bit deeper into these aspects as well. Let's give that another shuffle. There we go. Sun, rising, and moon. Okay, let's take a look at each of these. It's decision time when it comes to the sun. We have the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups presents you with lots of compelling options. It's a great card for brainstorming, dreaming, having cool ideas, but it can be confusing sometimes, right? So try to take it one step at a time. And what I do, it's kind of like what happens in dream time for me. So if there's a lot of energy coming through, I just get up long enough to dictate 2 or 3 words or to tap a couple things into my phone, and then I put it away and go back to sleep because I can sort it out later. So the High Priestess in reverse, she's in the receiving mode. You don't want to take her out of the receiving mode and get into this practicality. Just let her receive and be creative, and then you can ground it. A fun fact, and I'm sure it works different for every medium, but one of the skills that's kind of grown over the past 8 years or so is my ability to talk to spirits. Typically for me, I don't use my throat or my voice. I project my voice in my head. I can hear myself talking, so I talk to them intuitively and silently, because when I use my vocal cords, the vibration and I come out of my meditated state. So even in that, so just allow yourself to meditate and be there. Don't worry about talking about it too much yet. Just kind of like sit with it for a sec, write it out, then you can articulate it. The minute you start articulating, it's a denser form of communication, and you're searching for words and you're worried about how you're sounding and all that jazz. So unless you're very used to channeling, it's a different sort of skill. So just scribble it out, sit with it, talk it out if you want to eventually, and then be okay. One thing that I would say is never be self-deprecating in the verbal communication of it. One of the biggest blessings with this channel is I get a chance to come on live here and just talk and be a channel. So my throat does get fatigued sometimes, which is why this morning I was drinking herbal tea. But what happens is it's basically this to this, and it's almost like it doesn't have to process anywhere else in my body. I'm just downloading it and saying it, downloading it and saying it. If you can get into that, that's cool, and you can record it. And that's what trance channels do, mediums. You basically just go through it. So sometimes I have to listen to a video after I've done it because I'm in an altered state as I do this. If you can do that, great. If you can't, write it down so that you don't take yourself out by communication. That took some practice. Because communication is it's a function of the body and the brain, and you're kind of processing that. With all of this, think of it as what's the lowest hanging fruit? What's the easiest thing to kind of go for first? That's also where you can go. Where are you being kind of like drawn to? Because you can't do all of this. You don't want to cast that wide of a net. What's your focus? And that's really what this card is saying. You've got a lot of expansive energy with that. So have fun with it and then focus. Rising and ascendant. It's what I featured in the channeled messages. What is it that you're trying to do? Are you ready and willing? How far are you willing to go for it? The Ace of Pentacles can work both ways. It can be you offering someone this coin. It can be someone else offering you the coin. And so it's basically saying, are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive now? Are you ready to speak up for what you deserve, for what you want, for what you need? And if you can do a little bit of both of these, you can make it happen. These are like seeds too, Ace of Pentacles, basically, or an egg. It requires nourishment, fertilization, care, time, patience. This can represent the 1 year cycle that we see as well. It's all good. New money, new job, new contract. Also, it can be a proposal, whether it's professional or in marriage. It's all good stuff. So I really like that it's coming through in rising and ascendant too, because for a lot of you, this can affect your sort of like work and career. So we see it taking off, taking flight. Okay. Nothing negative to say about that. Just believe in yourself. That's the main sort of me coaching you, okay? That's all you need to hear from me. Otherwise, spirits said everything. Moon, the King of Wands. King of Wands in reverse. When I was thinking of the focus card, he came to mind too. This is one of the best King of Wands because he has a little bit of the magic of the Queen of Wands in it. So he has a panther, I think, beside him instead of a black cat. Still a black cat, just a bigger one. The card in reverse is basically one of the ultimate bossy cards in tarot, second only to the Emperor. And so we could even see this as a divine partner to the Empress. So what do you need to know with this in the moon sign? You're your own boss. Some of you want to be your own boss. You may have a hard time taking feedback or direction from others. So if that's the case, maybe this is a time to find a place where your voice is heard a little bit more. And as I'm getting my own voice back, this is also saying you are very capable of pushing something through. There are times where you don't want to take no for an answer when it comes to something that's essential or integral to the integrity of what it is that you want to do. So definitely stand your ground for things that are important and show people this new passion, this new fire, this new energy. There could just be someone really stubborn around you as well, and that's going to push you in the right direction. For some of us, that may push us into a different career or relationship, and it may not be fun in the process, but it's going to help you find your power, your autonomy, and it's like, I'm tired of being bossed around. So you're either the boss, or you're finding a way to get your word and idea through, or you're moving into a different path where people do listen to you. But the King of Wands is pretty amazing. Also, the other thing with this is show it, don't say it. We can talk things into, the ground. And so this is also leaning into nonverbal ways of showing how it can happen. So prototypes, visual aids, real life examples, or just living the life that you want to and letting people eventually catch up mentally into what it is you're trying to do. You don't have to say it. You don't have to share everything. In a day of social media where we share everything, this card is saying, just show it, don't share it. Show it or live it and demonstrate it. You don't have to sort of hit the share. And that, my friends, is everything with respect to this month so far. I'm really inspired with what I see here. I do feel like this is all about empowerment this month. It is about finishing what you set out to do. Little bit of challenges with some of the chaos or order here, but I think you can manage it. We're going to now launch into the latter part of this reading. We have 3 things we're going to do. Meditate together, and then I'm going to do a sound bath. And after that, if there's one more question that I didn't cover, I do my best to look at everything. But if there's one thing that's specific to you, stick around. We'll take a look at it. I'll pull a final card, and I'll get you your answer. In the meantime, if you haven't already done so before we meditate, please hit that like and subscribe. It's absolutely free, helps the channel grow, and it helps more people find this. And that's really the reason we ask for that engagement. You can also join me across social media if you'd like. I see this question all the time, so I keep putting it up here. Sorry, not that one, but I don't offer private readings. So if anyone offers one, I saw someone in the comments the other day that was an imposter. I got rid of them, but ignore them, report them, let me know, and know that this is how we show up here live. Okay, let's go ahead now and meditate. Focus, if you will, on your breathing. Just close your eyes and breathe for a moment. Nice deep inhale, exhale, letting go of any sort of thoughts or feelings that are heavy, allowing yourself to just feel light as a feather. And with that sort of light as a feather energy, imagine that you are a feather floating through the wind, and find a place where you can see things from a higher perspective. Allow yourself to be brought up to the highest peak or the highest mountaintop and see the world from a different point of view. See the patterns that you've taken so far. See the roads that you've yet to explore. And tune in using your heart as your compass and allow it, just like the magician energy that we were talking about earlier, to tell you where the chemistry is. Where is it that you feel aligned? What's your true north? It's going to be different for everyone. As we meditate, allow the compass of your heart to show you what the next step is. For some of you, it might be regarding a relationship. For some of you, it might be work. For some of you, it's healing the inner child or doing some personal development. Let the compass of your heart illustrate. And if you can't see things on meditation, not everybody can, breathe and feel the sense that you are being guided. And just take each step after this meditation and pay attention to little signs and signals around you. Whether it's a license plate, a song, or a thought, you're constantly being shown where to look next. All right, so just breathe and allow your mind to receive. And we'll come right back after this and take a look at the final card. And allow that feather now to come back to you, to your physical body, bringing with it the insight, the understanding, and the vision that you were given from the angels, from your guides, from the compass of your heart. Take a deep breath, if you will, and pull that energy into the heart space, putting your hands on your heart. A final breath. On the next exhale, gently open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody. And at this point, I'd like you to focus on the final question that you have for me. Hold that question in your heart and in your mind, and let's take a look and see what Spirit has to say. All right. We have another Knight card. This is the third. The only one that we were missing was Cups. Well, actually, no, we just got Cups, so we're looking at Swords is what we're missing. So with the Son of Cups here, Knight of Cups, basically this is you opening up to receive some good news, to do something that your heart desires. I like that we have an albino peacock here, basically, just like the unicorn, something that is rare, something that is special, something that is worth waiting for. In this moment in time, see yourself exactly as you are, as being like this unique peacock or like the unicorn. It's worth celebrating your sort of singular nature. There could be new love coming on the horizon. There could be something really creative or engaging. This is also saying, yes, you deserve to be happy, and your passion is what is going to bring that in. Something that I like to talk about a lot here. But yeah, Page of Cups, creative energy, relationship energy, and balance, a newfound balance in your life. We could also have Pisces coming into your life. Look at all these little koi fish in the pond here. So there could be a water sign or specifically a Pisces that's entering into your life in this period. Positive energy based on what I see. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for an exceptionally special reading. It's always nice to connect with everybody that's present here. I'm going to take a couple moments just to give some gratitude to the members that showed up, to those that gave back with a super sticker, and to welcome everybody that's new. Really great to see all of you, whether it's your first time or you've been here a lot. I'm going to start first with any of the newest members that might have joined today, and then we'll take it from there. All right, so within the past 12 to 24 hours, I see two new members here, Michelle and Jean, and they were actually in the chat before I arrived today. So welcome to both of you. I hope you guys get to hear my welcome here. And let's see, to those that gave back, I can see it in the chat, Paula B. and Lulia, thank you guys both so much for your support and for always showing up and giving a little extra. I recognize the names. And I think that was everybody for today. So I also want to just give a shout out to existing members that showed up today. So also welcome to members, including Laura, Paula as well, Sapo, let's see, Jill, Monica, Erica, and let's see, we also have I think that's everybody. And then also welcome to all the folks that have subscribed and are participating in the chat. Again, that's my way of giving back. It's a chance for you to communicate and say hi. So thank you guys for being a part of today's reading, for making it extra special, and for doing the work on yourself. I already posted a reminder for tomorrow. I'll be back same time reading for Leo, and then I'll be back on the weekend. Every Sunday I'm here around 9 or 9:30 to take a look at the week ahead. If you haven't watched that yet, you can look at it on the main channel page, and all of the timestamps are there. All right, everybody, wishing you lots of love and light. Remember again, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that. It helps. And if you'd like to join me on social media, I would love to have you. I post all my one-card readings across all the social media platforms. If you ever need to know where to find me, you can go to my website or the About tab here. Remember, I don't give private readings, like I said before. And if you watch this later, you can also join the channel, or you can hit the little heart and give thanks if you'd like to. Again, all of that helps. All right, everybody, have a great day and a great month ahead. It's looking like a really fantastic one for your sign. So keep me posted in the comments below and let me know how everything goes. From my heart to yours, and also for Mr. Apollo, who came back during the sound bath, we wish you the best of days. Take care. Bye-bye.